So Mississippi Valley State Marching Band has been invited to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration, and as right on cue, a lot of black folk are upset. But this ain't the first time HBCU College has been invited to an inauguration, and people got upset about it. Let's see, a little video. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Where is it? Do y'all remember this here?
The tornadoes are in the.
Let's not go into much on Omarosa, but let's watch the video.
They made it. The Talladega Tornadoes marching band has arrived in Washington. The band from the historically black Talladega College in Alabama came under fire when they accepted the invitation to march in President-elect Trump's inauguration parade.
You got a lot of flack when you decided you were going to continue with this parade. Why?
Well, I've gotten a lot of flack. I've got, threats on me.
But college president Dr. Billy Hawkins stood firm.
These young people are American citizens, and they deserve the right to be here.
A familiar face helped make it happen.
It is my pleasure to first welcome you to Washington, D.C.
Former apprentice contestant Omarosa Manigault, who's joining the Trump administration.
We had a conversation, and I said, I'm going to do everything I can to help get your students here.
She arranged an interview with Fox News Channel's Bill O'Reilly.
There's an amazing pressure being put upon people not to perform at the inauguration, and many have buckled, but not Talladega.
O'Reilly asked his viewers to raise money to fund the band's journey to our nation's capital. Donations poured in. The total so far, a whopping $650,000. The band left Alabama on Wednesday at 2 p.m.
We're on one of the 6 buses carrying the Talladega marching tornadoes.
650,000. I wonder how much that is now. Cause that was what 8 years ago. That's good. Shoot, what the hell? The way housing prices went up. If you bought a house for $650,000 7 years ago, right now it'd be worth well over $1 million. Just saying.
Been on these buses for about how many hours?
For 20 hours.
20 hours. You guys holding up okay?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Not really. No.
Not really.
And we were there when they arrived Thursday morning. Despite the long journey, the kids were in good spirits.
We're honored to be able to be here.
Even before checking into their hotels, the band members checked their instruments for any damages on the long trip up north. Sounds good to us. Now it's time to strike up the band.
So, like I said, that story was about 7-8 years ago. Here's the thing about that story. People were upset, just like they are now. We're about to read it here in just a second. That HBCU school went to Donald Trump's inauguration. The question is, what has Donald Trump done to you so bad to where you would deny your children the right or the privilege, let's say that, to go and perform at a presidential inauguration? Now, I will say again that I'm probably one of the most pro-black people you will ever meet. Been this way since high school. But I understand reality. I understand the reality in this country. People always want to protest about racism and bigotry and this, that, and the third, but yet everything you do, there's some racism involved in it, whether you want to admit it or not. For instance, remember when, Colin Kaepernick kneeled because of police brutality and this, that, and the third, and everybody talking about boycotting the NFL. People back watching the NFL now. And I sat there and said for sure that, and I stopped watching the NFL for a minute. Now I just don't watch sports really because I don't have time. But I mean, if I can catch a game, glimpse it, I will sit down and watch it because I'm like this here. Dude, everybody talk about this racism in this country, but don't nobody really protest racism, because if you did, you would do more for yourself and not do as much as you do for them folk. For instance, you work for companies that you know ain't trying to pay you. You know what I'm saying? And really don't value your time, effort, and the energy you put in, probably look at you a certain way because of your skin, because period. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, there are a lot of companies out there. People want to buy these Birkin bags and these Louis bags and buy all this luxury stuff. And these folks have shown and have documented that they don't want you in their stores, but yet you still find a way to spend money on their products. You work for people. You buy things from people from companies who will not let your people be a part of the distribution, the manufacturing, the textile industries. They will not let black folks in those, you know what I'm saying, in those fields. But they'll let you buy products from them in order to open up your store to where you have to charge a higher price to your people because they won't let you be the top person. You know what I'm saying? You can't create anything. You can't do anything. But you want to holler racism. Uh, Before I get too deep, let's go to this Atlanta Black Star because I just love to see what our people say. And it says, get someone else to do it. Mississippi Valley State, 'cause this is updated now for Mississippi Valley State. Mississippi Valley State marching band ridiculed after desperate plea to help raise $350,000 to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration parade. The Mississippi Valley State University marching band is under fire from HBCU supporters on social media for requesting donations to fund a trip to the nation's capital next month after being invited to perform on Donald Trump's presidential inauguration parade. Reports say Trump personally invited the Mean Green marching machine to perform in Washington, D.C. on January 20th, when he will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. However, the president-elect didn't send any money to help with the travel, cost, food, gas, or hotel stay. People are surprised about that, but I'm going to explain something to y'all here in just a second. Still, the school shared the exciting news on social media with Dr. Gerald Briggs, president of Mississippi Valley State, saying, "This is not just a moment of pride for our university, but for the entire state of Mississippi. It's an opportunity to showcase our legacy, celebrate our culture, and invest in the future leaders of our community." Let's see, there goes some of the band people. The engagement might have gone unnoticed if not for the band's appeal for $350,000 in public donations, which ignited a firestorm of criticism online, most likely from broke people who are haters, emotional people. And we're going to explain in a minute. With many calling the fundraiser thirsty and asking why Trump isn't footing the bill himself if the band's attendance at the event is so important to him. Help us raise $350,000 to go. Y'all don't even have the money to go. LOL. He's not paying y'all. Are y'all slow? I have so many questions. What is one of the questions you need to have is 2 plus 2 4? Because it's very simple, man. One person wrote on Instagram echoing the backlash. Let me explain something to this person on Instagram. I should have clicked on the other link because the other link actually had the Instagram. But anyway, so I can see it for myself. Y'all are tripping on this. Why? Is it because Donald Trump and Elon Musk got money? Or is it because they're white? Or because they're racist? Or because they're Klansmen? Or because you broke? Or got a broke mindset? Which one is it? You, as my daughter would say, you got to pick a struggle. You can't have both. I have coached, I guess you can call it AAU. No, I did not AAU basketball, but I know I've coached softball teams where we were in tournaments. You sign up for tournaments. You go to tournaments. I have been a part of practices with young boys who play football in these leagues, these local leagues. And these kids, elementary, junior high, high school, no, really junior high, they win these championships and then they get invited to play in Florida, to go to Florida and play. Been part of tournaments to where you can go play in a tournament. If you win, a certain amount of games in your regional league, we're talking about softball, in your region, and you just the top dog, you will be invited to play in tournaments across the nation. You can sign up for tournaments in Florida, and it was a big one in like Las Vegas, California. Like these are like say softball, even volleyball tournaments I know of. or one of the grandkids, like say teens, they want to try to get invited to be invited to these tournaments. You get to go to these tournaments. These tournaments can send out an invite for you to play. They're not paying for you to play. But you know what y'all parents will do? You'll go out here and have bake sales. You'll go door to door selling candy. You'll try to sell these cards for your sons and daughters to take a trip clear across the country to get their butt beat by these teams who ain't playing, by these teams who got these big monsters on their squad. I've seen, like I said, I've seen volleyball. I've been to volleyball tournaments where the grandbaby playing and she's short, you know, short in stature. And you go and see these teams, and these cats these girls are the same age, and every last one of them is like 6 foot and taller. And you're like, oh my God. And you pay for this. You will pay for your child to play in tournaments where they will do nothing. They may win. You pay for them to play in these leagues, to play on these teams. You get invited, you go to try out and say, okay, you made it. Now you got to pay this money. You ain't saying, well, hey, my child is great. Why you ain't playing for it? I mean, why you ain't paying for it? You ain't telling these coaches and the people who run these teams to pay for anything. You pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for your child to play on these teams. And then when they have games and tournaments, you go pay for to get in. You'll pay for concessions. If they go play in the tournament out of town, you will pay for hotels. You will pay to eat there. You will not sit here and demand that these black coaches, and I can say this because I used to run teams that did this. So we are not, as coaches and administrators who run these teams, are not paying for your child to play or to do whatever. But if we did, here's the thing. People like that think Deion Sanders used to have teams where, you play for him, he paying for everything. There are teams that do that, but you know what? They run everything. They have the jerseys belong to them. Hell, I've had teams where even when you bought a jersey, you have to turn it in when you off the squad because you're renting the jersey. You're not sitting there making the people that run these teams, you're not making them pay for anything. You know what they do? They do fundraisers. They get sponsorships. Now, if you get sponsorships, scholarships, when you get sponsorships, you can get scholarships for these players to pay. I mean, for these players to play on the squad. But the people who run the teams and the people that run these tournaments are not paying for it. Money's coming from the outside. So with that being said, you got no problem taking money, paying money for your child to do that. But you got something to say about kids trying to raise money in a band to leave a state that most of them will probably never leave that state, if not maybe even the city that they're in, ever in their life. First time they can go to the nation's capital. See, here's the thing. They can go up there. They can go up there and see the Washington Monument. They can go up there and see the White House, the Capitol. They can see They can be tourists. They can probably visit another HBCU. They can see the town. They can see Washington D.C. at a time that they probably will never again. It's quite possible they'll never be able to afford to go to Washington D.C. in their life. Well, they can't afford it. Probably won't have time. This could be a lot of them their first trip ever outside of their school and their hometown. But y'all want to holler, right? Y'all want to holler because what? Because Trump had paid for it. Now you want to call them silly? They've asked for you to raise money for them to help schools. I have made a video years ago. Now, one of my first videos I did. Now, mind you, HBCUs, let's be honest, are named after white people, white men or famous white men's wives. Let's just be honest. And your kids go there, but you want to call it an historically black college and university named after white folk, racist white folk in this country. You got no problem with that. Okay, fine. It's what I'm saying is it's all put together. When Langston University was created, in order for them to get the funding from the government to build a school, the black community had to come up with part of the money. You know what we did as black folks in Oklahoma? Church bake sales. Went around, sold stuff, did work, raised money to come up with the funds to help build Langston University. Nobody said, well, hey, since we came with half the money, why we can't name it after a black person? But again, you want to pick and choose when you want to holler racism. Why is that? Because it's the going thing. That's why. You don't have a individual self-thinking thought in your body. All you want to talk about is what everybody else is talking about. Oh, that's what everybody's talking about. We finna run with it. No, man. That's not how that's supposed to work. But anyway, I did a video which explained to you how many HBCUs are in this country. How that if you don't want the money, remember Donald Trump said he was gonna, sign an executive order to like create funding for HBCUs, and everybody was upset, saying no, you shouldn't take money from him because he's racist. Like Joe Biden ain't. Like Joe Biden, one of his mentors was not a racist dude who was a Klan member who was a known racist from the South. That was one of his mentors. Did a eulogy at his funeral. We ain't gonna talk about Joe Biden being racist at all. Like seriously. But anyway, all racist history. Can't talk about that. But Donald Trump, you got people like David Duke who are Klansmen. Donald Trump ain't never came with you like that. I'm just saying how people pick and choose to be. But anyway, they did a video talking about how you, as individuals, if every black person working, every black person who has a job in this country gave $7 to each HBCU, you can do it. There's like 100 and some HBCUs. If everybody just went, you can go in a random order. If you just win the order, what have you, alphabetical order, whatever, numeric, I don't care. And if every month, just every month, which will take, I forgot how many years, 4 or 8 years, something like that. But if everybody gave $7 to an HBCU every month for what you got, 12 times 4 is 48. So it's like 8 years, I guess. Everybody gave $7 to one HBCU every month until you reach them all. You would reach, in the end, you would have given equally to every school out there, and you would have raised that, I think it was like $4 billion or something like that. I can't even remember. The video been done almost 10 years ago, probably. Well, when Donald Trump got in office, so about 8 years ago. But anyway, that by this time, you would have raised the money to make sure every HBCU has been equally funded by the people. So all you had like 107 schools. And I'm like, shoot, why just $7? You can give $10. But you would raise that money, you would have that money, every HBCU would have been financed by the black community on its own. So now if they want to mess around, mess up the money, that's on, you know what I'm saying? Now you got something to say. You got a reason to talk. But I'm quite sure not a lot of y'all seen that video. I know. And so which means nobody did it, or nobody is doing it, or very few people, probably nobody done it at all. So it is what it is. But it could have been done. It still can be done. But now y'all are tripping because they want to go to the inauguration. Nobody, like I say, they're not going to pay. It's like I'm quite sure the black schools are not the only school only organization that's been invited to an inauguration and has to pay their way. But you want to call other people slow. You don't know how this world works. They don't pay for that stuff for you. They invite you if you can make it. If your child can make it to an AAU tournament in Vegas or in Florida, you're gonna have to come out of pocket. Your team will have to come out of pocket. Your team can be undefeated locally and win the local championship. They say, okay, now you can come on out here and play against the best in the country. Y'all gonna have to pay your way. You have to pay your own way. Y'all will do that, but y'all tripping on these kids trying to go and see the nation's capital? Come on now. And showcase talent to the world? Come on now. They can learn a whole lot more. Like I said, sometimes you got to look past that petty crap. Let them kids go up there and learn something. Come back with stories they can tell, inspirations. Stories and inspirations is the word they can tell fellow classmates, tell their kids, tell their parents, hey, look, this is I was able to go here and do this. And it changed my life. I saw life outside of Mississippi, and there's a better life out there that I want, and I'm gonna go get it. Didn't know it was out there. I know people who live in small towns like where I live at. There's folks that said that they had never been outside of this city, afraid to go to Dallas because their mama and grandmama told you don't go to Dallas 'cause that's what crazy people are. You don't want to go up there. No, you just stay right here. And ain't been and hadn't been outside of the city. Like seriously. That is sad. That ain't what the world was built for. The world was not built for you to just sit in your house and rot. Make something of your life. And it's quite possible this could help them kids anyway. Quote, ask Elon Musk and other billionaires to pay. Why did the incoming administration invite them but not offer to cover all expenses? Another said. I just explained to you. That's not how the world works. I think the overall response, and you saw the other video where they rake out the money raised. I'm gonna give it to the GoFundMe. As a matter of fact, if I find I'm gonna get the GoFundMe. I saw a while ago. I said another article. I'm gonna click on it here in a minute. I'm gonna donate myself here in a few minutes once I'm done with this story. I think the overall response is get someone else to do it. Another person wrote, "Okay, well nobody asked you to do it. Don't do it." Many expressed surprise at the band's willingness to support Trump, citing his policies against teaching Black history in school and eliminating diversity programs. He ain't the first white person who did stuff against Black folks. So what you tripping on? And y'all still endorse them, and y'all still live in their world. Ain't none of y'all moved back to Africa. Ain't none of y'all moved to the Caribbean. Ain't none of y'all try to start your own little town and build it up. None of that. You just crying racism and how bad the white man treat you. A Black school endorses a man that doesn't want Black history in school. Hey, someone else said, wants to take away funding of HBCUs, but go off. SMH. I thought he was giving HBCUs fund. I thought it was Biden who took away some of that money and gave it to other groups. Others called out Briggs and the band director for accepting Trump's invitation, saying we don't have to say yes to everything. Critics highlight irony. And most of y'all probably, especially women, probably got a bunch of fake hair, fake lashes that you bought from the Korean store. People who have disrespected you all the time and your people all the time. But as long as you don't see it, as long as your eyes are closed, you don't care. Critics highlight the irony of a billionaire president surrounded by the wealthiest cabinet in U.S. history inviting a cash-strapped HBCU to Washington without offering any financial support. And see, that's another thing. If you would have been given to these schools up until now, you probably wouldn't have no problem. You probably wouldn't feel guilty about them going and performing at the inauguration. Imagine me donating when a billionaire president invited y'all. One person noted, oh, and these tournaments that your kids go to, these AAU tournaments and stuff like that, the people that run these tournaments, oh, they got money. I know a guy whose team is like one of the biggest teams, conglomerates in North Texas in softball. God, I can't think of the name of it. But back when my kids were playing, they were pretty big. They was a big deal. When they threw tournaments, college recruits always came to their tournament because they only invited the best teams around. It's to the point now you're talking about this guy says he makes millions per year doing tournaments. But nobody said nothing about it. So again, like I said, them people that run them tournaments that you send your kids to, them cats got money. So why they not, when they invite your team to play, your child's team to play, why they not paying for everything? Y'all ain't got nothing to say about that. None at all. And I'm quite sure they're probably some bigots and racists who run them organizations too. Someone also mentioned Chrisette Michelle in the comment section, recalling the backlash she faced in 2017 when she performed at Donald Trump's inauguration. The Grammy-winning singer faced intense criticism on social media, prompting her to explain in an open letter that she hoped the performance would serve as a bridge between Trump supporters and opponents. Author Aaliyah S. King criticized Michelle's explanation as a cop-out, while Spike Lee removed her song Black Girl Magic from the Netflix series She's Got to Have It. I wouldn't be trying to bridge gaps. What I would be trying to do is use the experience to better myself. Like, let's say you have illegal immigrants coming over here and working for these companies. Let's say if they building houses, doing landscaping or what have you. They know them white folk don't like them. You know they're using them for cheap labor, but you know what they're doing? They're learning on the job. They're honing their skills, and then they are branching out and starting their own businesses. And then they leave that oppressive white man and do their own things to help them to raise their families, to support their families. You guys don't think like that. You guys sit here and want to get upset and try to say, we're not doing that. We're not doing with that racist person. Forget, you just want to stay in a subservient, oppressive state instead of saying, let me take this opportunity and build on it and see if I can't create something, an opportunity for myself. You don't even know who these kids might meet when they go down there. They may run into somebody that could change their lives forever. Because it's not the way that you want it done, you feel it should be done, you feel they shouldn't do it. The Mississippi Valley State Band is famous for its electrifying performances on the national stage, including those in the NBA games, the Rose Bowl, Mardi Gras, and the Battle of the Bands. However, it's not clear what prompted Trump's invitation or if he had seen the band perform before. In recent days, the university revved up a GoFundMe page. It's funny the Atlanta Black Star does not have the GoFundMe page highlighted on this. Amazing. Wrote a GoFundMe page alongside an online marketing campaign to publicize a fundraising event with digital ads calling Trump's invitation a testament to our students' excellence and dedication. Help us raise $350,000 to make this once in a lifetime experience possible for all our students. After 2 days, the GoFundMe has raised just $1,200, but as of Monday morning, the band has raised over $45,000 with a current goal set at $70,000. That's sad that they had to drop the freaking goal because black folks opening their mouth and talking. Man, they should have kept that goal to 350,000. Matter of fact, let me go right here. Because again, this is from Vibe. They have a GoFundMe. Now, right there, it says seeking 350,000. Let's click on it, and it says they're gonna raise it to 240,000. Good for them. And like I say, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to donate to them because I mean, hey, you can't support everything, but if you can support something, just find something to support. And I'll support this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, I already giving money to the HBCU, so hell, I can support this. That's fine. It ain't nothing. Let them kids. Now I clicked on it earlier. They was at 74%. So right now they're at 75%. I'm gonna put the link in the description box for damn show, so y'all can click on this and y'all can give too. So what y'all say, y'all? Because what was the other one? The other video I did, that say Bill O'Reilly, you know what I'm saying, did an interview and they raised like $600 something thousand, which I also say they shouldn't take them white folk money. I'm just wondering because you give white folk money. You give money to white folk all the time, to white folk that don't like you. Not saying all, I'm just saying I know it's out there. I know that there are some racist and bigoted people out there, and it may not be on Front Street, but you know. And you give money to them and you spend money. You spend your money in their stores, in their shops. You let them do work for you. You pay rent to them. How you gonna pick and choose? I mean, when did you decide that racism is good or not? You had, like I said, you had a president over the last 4 years who, like I say, got a history of being mentored by racists. And you had no problem with it because he's a Democrat. And that's basically what it is because because Biden was a Democrat and Trump, who was originally a Democrat, just ran as a Republican. And he said years ago he knew that he would win. So that is what it is. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Do you think Mississippi Valley State should go and perform at the presidential election? Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below. Let's share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you maybe a couple minutes out your day, but it means the world to us here. If you would like to support financially, you can get super thanks, super chat, super stickers, and you can go to the link to the description box below, and there are links there you can click on to help support us there. With that being said,